Good evening, Warriors, and welcome into the 100th edition of the R&R Sports Report. I'm your host, Randy Isbell. With me, as always, Mr. Robert Hagan. Robert, man, we made it somehow.
I don't know how we did it, but we made it 100 shows. It's just been a crazy whirlwind up and down with all the folks we've gotten to know and meet, and now doing stuff for the college. It has opened up so many doors for both you and I.
Yeah.
It has been really an unbelievable 2 years. So.
Yeah, I think we predicted that after 10 episodes, they just kick us off the air, and instead it's kind of gone the other way. And we've been able to hang out a lot with our first guest here. We're going to have several guests on throughout. We got to bring on the guy that's probably the person that's commented the most as far as local people go, because we can't fly out Eric from Florida. As we're 100 episodes in, but we have zero budget for this kind of stuff. But Danny Grubb hiding behind his microphone in the most professional manner. I'm gonna see if I can mess with him.
Wait, but it's already been corrected. It's not Denny. Your daughter's already commented. It's Dennis. So
yeah, she likes to do that.
You got to turn his mic on though.
Smart, like her mom, I think. I don't know where she got that, but
so how do you want us to, reference you? King Denny? Is that okay? Or
I don't know. That's going to Charles now, so he's taking that over. Just I like to be the stat man. That's what I do, and I like to be called the stat man. Is good. I know people out there going, so that's what that guy looks like that writes all that stuff. Wow.
I still think now that Katie's on board. And Brooke, they kind of split their duties a little bit, maybe a little bit slow things down. We got to get Katie and Brooke to finally do what we were talking about. How we saw at the World Series, your press box. It's your press box now.
Yep.
Denny Grubb press box. We just need to do sponsored by Grubhub.
Yeah, we gotta get sponsored.
We gotta get sponsored. Got to get you some sponsors up there. It'd be better than
The fact that he has had a press box for almost a full baseball season and has yet to kick anybody out of it just kind of shows you the man that Denny is. Because there was a lot of people in that press box through the World Series.
I'm waiting for him to put the name in neon, so when you drive by at night, you got to get real close to see whose press box it is.
Now you really need to get sponsored by Grubhub.
Imagine putting
Megan with, I like the czar of sports or statistics. That's a good one.
There you go.
I like that.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here on your 100th. I've got some stuff for you when you're ready.
I'm very afraid.
But,
let's start with that. Let's start with all your craziness in here, because again, Mr. Stats over here.
Well,
came prepared. I did not come prepared, so
I did, and I know Robert's always got "Who am I?" and that's easily Googled, and you can figure out who that is. And that's what I usually do at home, but I don't let people know. It's like, wow, how does he know all that? Well, this day and age with Google, you can pretty much. I've got a couple of quizzes and then some 100 things.
Okay.
The quizzes here's kind of an easy one. I think you guys might know it. LC has had 3 nicknames, mascots. The Warriors. Do you know the other 2? The original one and the other, and one is being used right now.
The Loggers.
Yeah. That was their second nickname.
Yeah. That was one of the original, the very first one, wasn't it?
That was the second one. Second nickname. The original was the Pioneers. Way back when they first started athletics and they needed a mascot. Way back when they were the Pioneers. And the other one is, and I don't know if colleges still give out letters like high schools do. You earn your letter. But if they did, there have been obviously the sports that are going on now active at LC, but there have been, I should have counted them up, 3, 6, 9, 11 other sports that the college has sponsored where you got a letter. Now, it might have been intramurals, but they still gave you a letter. Yeah. So besides the ones, what's your guess on the 11 sports that the college has ever played here where somebody might have got a letter?
Well, I didn't get a letter, and I might have been too late for all that stuff, but I played for LC rugby for 1 year.
Okay. I don't have that on my list.
I think that was after all the letter stuff. Yeah. That was back when I could actually run. But
Was that before your wrestling time?
in the
or
middle,
after?
in the middle of it.
Rugby, I did not read about, but that might have just been a plain intramural. Back in the old days, I mean, it was a big deal, especially for the women who they didn't have organized sports until later that we'll talk about. But there was
Rodeo's got to be one because
Rodeo.
I know rodeo started just right after I had finished high school and college.
rodeo actually has a national title.
Yeah,
in 2000.
I remember seeing that up on the wall
Yeah.
inside the P1FC Activity Center this weekend.
Local lady Karen Fuller was the coach
Right.
of that. 9 years they had rodeo. 1 year they had men's volleyball. They actually played when they were trying to transition
Mhm.
into Division II. They were putting together a schedule. Kip Yoshimura was the women's volleyball coach, coached the men. So they had that 1 year.
So with that being said, I've had so many where I'm head coaching at the middle school doing football. I get the Title IX question brought to me all the time. And I had some girls this last week ask me, well, how come I couldn't play football? I never said you couldn't.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and that's the big thing. And so why? And so then you get the couple of guys that ask me, well, I would have rather played volleyball. But you
Yeah.
can't do volleyball in junior high or well, no, I'm saying
No,
the
no,
junior high
I'm
or-
saying I would have
Not-
wanted
yeah,
to too.
I mean that's
Not
gonna-
yet anyway. Who
Yeah,
knows?
So I mean that's going to be one of those.
Yeah, I was tall and lanky. I wanted to play volleyball.
You're still tall and lanky.
But the problem is I have no hops. But I never have had hops, and
Well,
I
watching
can't
that-
dribble a basketball worth anything.
Watching that
so.
women's volleyball game the other night with you guys, that was, they brought in basketball first for the women, and then they transitioned to volleyball. But some of the gals, ladies, played both. And in
Mhm.
my mind, I'm thinking, what would be easier, a basketball player playing volleyball, the women, or a women's volleyball player playing basketball? I kind of think, other than the digs, holy smokes,
Mhm.
maybe a basketball player could play volleyball easier than that, or I don't know, but anyway, well, I digress. Football was huge here. Football was a big time sport here at LC until the 50s. So that was one. And then besides that, I'll just go through here.
Trying to think.
They had boxing, bowling,
Bowling needs to come back
Yeah,
too.
it does.
yeah, softball, horseshoes.
I was
Huh?
thinking badminton. Actually, that's exactly. I was thinking badminton in the back of my head, not even horseshoes.
Something called speedball, which was kind of a soccer handball combination, swimming, archery, and
Frisbee.
hiking.
What?
I don't know how you got a letter in hiking.
Is it
but,
like like ultimate cross country?
I don't know.
Well,
Put a
or is it
backpack.
just-
Well, they probably didn't have backpacks back then.
I made it to top of Seven Devils. Time to break out a beer.
That's probably why they got rid of the sport.
Probably exactly what happened.
Half the competitors just disappeared halfway through the course.
You know, another one I would be very shocked that they didn't do, and I know WSU brings their rowing team down. I'm shocked they don't have.
They actually tried that one time. I mean, they talked about it. It was Coach Dick Hannon, or athletic director Dick Hannon, actually talked to WSU about borrowing some of their canoes. What do they call them? And they never went through it. And that was when Title IX kicked in, and they were looking for things to add. But so of the current sports, in honor of your 100th show, men's basketball. Well, they've played basketball, baseball, in some form here since the school opened in the 1900s. We call men's basketball officially starting in 1922. They won their 100th game. If they started in 1922, when did they win their 100th game?
1927.
I was to say 28.
1935.
Well, we stunk.
How
Lewiston,
many games did they have in the
not
season?
many. They didn't play many back then.
Yeah, that
And
makes sense.
the Lewiston Normal Pioneers defeated Eastern Oregon right here at home.
Lewiston Normal Pioneer. So that must be from Normal Hill, then I would assume.
No, back then a lot of colleges were called normal. I don't know. And I don't mean there were abnormal ones either.
Oh, I'm sure there were.
That's
but there
why-
was there was Eastern Washington normal, this normal. I don't know what that meant, but that's what they were called back then, normal. And I used to work when I went to work at the post office and working with older guys, and I would say, "Hey, I'm going over to college." You go, "You're going over to the normal," and that's how they knew it. And anybody over the age now, I suppose, of probably 80, that's what they still call it, the normal. But,
That's funny. I've never heard that before.
baseball played forever, but officially they became NAI in 1962. So 1962, how long did it take them to win their 100th game?
And they play 60 games now, right? Is that right? 30 games?
Yeah, 50 to 60.
50 to 60. So give them a couple of years. I would say 1973.
Pretty close. 1971, Coach Ramon Hooker won the 100th game for the Warriors.
Sorry, you guys talk amongst yourselves. Judges up with the bases loaded. I'm distracted.
Oh, that's all we need from you is a grand slam. Women's basketball started here in 1973. Their coach was named Bernice Sohn, who was a famous bowler who you may see her name in the bowling alleys. But anyway, started in 73. When did they win their 100th game?
I would say 79.
82.
1983.
Oh,
Coach Mary Gay
man.
Shop. Mary Gay Shop's team beat Whitman 80 to 72. And finally,
Give them
Volleyball.
too much credit.
volleyball started in 75. The lady who coached that also was coaching basketball at the time, Joanne Rust. But anyway, it started officially in 75. They won their 100th game in 1981. Janice Rowe was the coach. So
one sport you did not mention in that whole thing, and I've talked to Alicia about it, and I know it comes down to availability of places to play, and everything's kind of cramped downtown anyways. How has LC not had the softball team? There's a lot of Cascade Conference teams that have softball.
I think hold on to your hat.
Yes.
Because I think, and maybe not necessarily because of Title IX, I have no insight at all about, that kind of stuff, but it's got to come down to they're going to have probably add softball or soccer, I would think, in the near future. Because they've, from things that I've heard from one time or another, they're really uneven with their men and women's sports. And so logically, what are you going to add? Soccer, I guess, would be the easiest, but where are you going to play? I guess you got Walmer Bowler somewhere, and then there's softball. So, I think you might be onto something there, and Alicia later might be able to add something to that. But anyway, that's your quick history of 100 stuff since you're doing your 100. And you guys said it took you over 2 years?
Yep. Or was it about
this time?
About this time 2 years ago. Because we missed a couple weeks here and there, and Judge struck out. He sucks.
Yay.
With the bases loaded?
With the bases loaded. What a bum. No
Trade him to
MVP
the
for
Orioles.
him. He'll be a free agent here soon for you.
Oh, man, how much is he going to get?
So much.
We
Hopefully from the Yankees. That's all I ask. Speaking of your Orioles, you came in very, very kind of dejected. Obviously, wearing your Orioles polo is still rocking the team. That's for sure. But that's one of those. It's one of those years, I think, for Baltimore as a fan of teams that have had many bad years, as the Jets have. As an Oriole fan, I'm curious. At the end of the year, are you ecstatic with them overachieving what you thought they were going to do, or are you kind of bummed because they had a great chance to make the playoffs and they missed out?
No doubt. I am super ecstatic because they're not in last place.
Right.
Yeah.
Boston's kind of sneaking up. That's a tough division. There could be 3 teams out of that division in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm very, very happy. I think along with other Oriole fans, we see hope. In the past years, you're like, oh, we're last place again, and they only won 4 more games than they did last year. So their improvement is tenfold this year as far in our eyes. And the fact that with just over 2 weeks to go, they're they're still in it. I mean, they're not eliminated.
Right.
A miracle would have to happen, but
Well, I mean, you're 6 games over now, and last year we're already 10 games better than what they were last year.
oh no,
At this time,
last year
20 games better than they were last
I think
year.
last year they won 50 some games.
Yeah, so I mean, right now,
Yeah,
I mean,
they've
that's
crushed it.
huge. I mean,
Yeah.
6 games
Oh.
over, what, 14, 15 games go, 16 games
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
no
needs to
doubt.
win 5 games, guaranteed at least
Yeah,
500
I mean,
record. And no,
They've-
it's been
they've
a great
held
year.
on to, and they've brought up some rookies, some promising rookies, and you know, I've been a fan since 1969. They had great years in the 70s and 80s. They were pretty good, and then it got pretty lean there. But you stick with them, you know. The cycle has to come around, and now it looks like the Mariners are going to maybe do it and get in the playoffs at least. So yeah,
knock on wood here. We weren't.
Get in the
we're not-
playoffs and never play at home.
Yeah,
that's the bad
Yeah,
part.
that could be.
That will be the tough one, especially where they're at right now. Your Orioles are down 3-0, bottom of 7, 1 on,
That was
and
cool.
that went to the Tigers. But
They got bombed yesterday, like 13-2 or something.
so
But-
you were at the volleyball game the
Yeah.
other day,
Mhm.
and it made me think that you guys were up on the upper table and I was down.
We were on the cool
floor.
kids table.
You heard the cool. I felt like I was at the little kid table because I was on. I felt like I was on an island. I even told Sean Pullman and I said, "How come you're all the way at that end?" And I feel all lonesome right by on the end. But you have seen so many different sports and things come through here. Is there one that you prefer to watch or see or be a part of more? I mean, you being involved in sitting there just watching the volleyball just made me think, okay, I wonder how many different sporting events you've actually seen out of LCSC.
Well, all of them that we talked about, you know, even the men's volleyball, it was kind of hung around with Kip there while he was doing that. But there's no doubt baseball. I mean, NAIA World Series come, and you guys have experienced this. You're there from 8 a.m. till midnight, and you would stay longer if you wanted, if you could. I enjoyed the volleyball game the other night. I have a lot of questions about them. Wasn't too impressed with the referees, and they
I
You
don't
came on
think
a weird.
anybody-
You
How in the
came on a
world-
weird night.
they came up with reviews without a video, and I'm like, wait a minute, they're just, and they actually took, what they have, a no call.
Yeah,
and one
they
play was
replayed a point for. They did it according to Alicia, and we'll have her on, and she'll kind of talk about it because we'll hit kind of on the Warrior sports that they're going on right now. But they replayed the point because the umpires didn't know what ball or what side of the net the ball fell.
Yeah,
It was like they continued to point, and then the Warriors won it, and then
there was no doubt. You know, we were sitting there, and there's no doubt it came over on the other team's side. And I'm like, and they must have talked about that. What, 4 times, 4 different sessions? The guy went over there.
The one thing I don't get, the next time we have a volleyball player on, or when we get Sean on, the way they do arguments is hilarious
Yeah.
to me. Could you imagine? Because so the head umpire is
Up
kind
on
of
the chair.
up on the chair on the other side of the court from the benches.
looking down on everyone.
Yep. And the only person that can go talk to that person other than the other umpires is your team captain.
Yeah.
The coach cannot cross into the court,
Right.
or it's like an instant ejection or whatever. So he has to talk to this judge to then play telephone to
Yeah,
go talk
telephone.
to them, or send your team captain over there. Could you imagine that in baseball?
No.
Like Aaron Boone sending out Aaron Judge to go chat, and then he has to come back, and then Aaron Boone starts losing his mind.
I'm just picturing some of the former basketball and baseball coaches here handling that situation that happened the other night. And coach, LC coach he knew it was LC's point,
Mhm.
and he kept asking the guy to go over there. He went over there and come back. No, that the head judge, she was not going to give in.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, and it's just funny that they get reviews without a
Right.
video.
And it's just stretched the whole thing out. Just let Sean go talk to her,
Yeah.
and they can
Well, Sean,
figure it out.
Sean looked at me twice and kind of just
Yeah.
gave me the shrug, and I'm like, I don't know what else. To
I don't
say.
know if
whether or not for me to get on the microphone and say it should be LC point.
Have you ever
I
seen,
guess I
have you ever
should've
seen a
done it.
volleyball coach get ejected? Can they get ejected?
I've been told that they can. I was impressed with Sean. Just his only reaction was his mouth kept getting wider.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
he would get an explanation and just be more aghast at
Yeah,
what
he
he
would-
was being told.
Arms out like what?
Yeah,
But-
a couple times he looked over at me and just shrugged, and I could see this like the bewilderment of what was going on with the lady in the chair. It was just what she was
Well,
watching.
I thought
don't
he
know.
handled it great, and then I,
Mhm.
you know, I was talking to you about why aren't they playing such and such? Man, she's. But come to find out, they've got injuries.
They are.
He did what he could, you know, and I think they'll be okay when they get the, you know, everybody back 100%. And I think in his mind, he's like, okay, this, you know, you want to win every game, but you don't want to get people hurt.
Yeah, they had several players hurt going in. We did not see Garcia. I believe the last set, maybe set and a half. No official word that I've been told about her. Lisi kind of just disappeared too. Lisi Longy was playing really well, and she kind of went off. Kenzie had to go out for blood, and that girl just fights through everything. I've never seen another athlete in any other sport take the damage that
Oh.
she takes on that volleyball court every play,
Those,
and then just looks at the coach like, I'm fine.
those guys,
she's great.
those ladies that take those digs.
Mhm.
I mean, I would. How many times would I have run away like crying or something like, hit me real hard?
Yeah, I actually, besides seeing Shannon, the other one I saw was Kinsey, and she was at the store after, you know, Denise and I went to dinner and got done, and she was there walking with her one friend in the store, and had her arm kind of with a almost like a sleeve on it. And I asked her, I said, "Everything okay?" I said, "You know, bad cut." No, I just got a little blood.
She's tough.
But dude, to constantly how many times she's into the floor
Yeah.
a night is just
they're diving on that floor. And but a long answer to your short question was baseball for sure. I mean, I can sit there and watch baseball, and to me, we were talking about, you know, I was trying to keep stats on volleyball, and I've tried to help Alicia in the past, and the thing with volleyball, it's so fast, and the play is over, and the next serve is coming on. Baseball, hour and a half later, you can go back and change it, you know, to an error or a hit. So that's one big difference is trying to keep stats and something like that. But keeping stats, baseball too. But yeah, I've enjoyed watching. You know, I was here at the beginning of the women's basketball era and watching them get better and better, and of course what the men and women's basketball teams have done, and what Mike Collins has done with track and cross country is just amazing. So, you know, and he's been here since the start. So, and Kai Fong with tennis, which, you know, he just kind of runs his own program over there, and they're down in New Orleans or wherever they happen to be someday. And
I'd like to see his frequent flyer miles.
Right.
Yeah.
How many miles you got, Kai? You know.
Well, he's been here. I think I wrote he's been here since '88.
Yeah.
All right. Before we kick you out of here, I got to get your take officially, because you and I talked about it before the volleyball game got going. But there was quite the historic event that happened on Thursday night in the world of high school football, with Kendrick defeating Genesee 104-0. Obviously, Genesee without their starting quarterback, Angus Jordan. So that kind of added two things. Kendrick is just phenomenal. I don't know. They are the Lapway of high school football. Like what Lapway has done to boys basketball, Kendrick is doing right now in football. Yes, they only play 8-man, so I'm not going to say they could go out and beat Lewiston, because it's just a completely different style. But I don't know if there's anybody in the Pacific Northwest that can beat this team in the 8-man level right now. But 104-0. It got a lot of ire on social media.
Right.
Don, my boss down at the Tribune, is just laughing about how many impressions the tweet has got just from the score. It wasn't us like having an opinion on it. It just was that score was one of the most like viewed tweets that he's had in years.
Well,
but just your thoughts on it.
A couple of things, you know, I joked with you who would score more points in their first 8 games, Kendrick football or Lapway boys basketball. they're both they just pound people. But until I saw the highlights last night, I saw the video of the Kendrick Genesee game. I would have said, "There's no way you can't say they're running up the score when it's 104-0." But to Genesee's favor, they wanted to keep playing. I mean, you could call the game.
Yeah. Well, Kendrick. The only reason I think Kendrick did not top 100 last week was because they stopped the game early.
Right. But watching the video, Genesee was fighting. Kendrick was running the ball. It wasn't like they were throwing bombs. Yeah, 104-0. And you don't want to tell. You all played sports. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What would you do if your coach just came out and said, if you're a pitcher, let him hit it. If you're quarterback, just down the ball. I don't want to do that. You're competitive, okay? And they played everybody. It sounds like they didn't leave their first string in there. Kendrick didn't. So I mean, to me, I would have loved to have statted that game. That's just my mind. I would have like, how many yards these guys all had. But 104 in football with the clock, with the fact they said we want to keep playing. Then okay, let's keep playing. And the two things, they ran the ball, they didn't throw bombs, and they let the clock run. So I think they did what they could. And one comment that I heard was Genesee fans were, from what I heard, very good about it. They weren't like hollering at the other team or anything like that. So I would have bet a lot of money. You could never score that much in football, but they did.
And we all know Zane. I wouldn't think Zane would say, let's keep the pedal down.
Zane and I'm blanking on the Genesee head coach's name at the moment, but they're good friends.
Yeah, Justin, they're good friends.
Yeah, they're good friends, and they were totally fine with it after the fact as well. And it's not even the most points that we've seen in the last 2 years. Pomeroy almost had 110, but they gave up points in that game last year.
And not to be a spoiler, I think here we'll talk about it in a little bit. I think Pomeroy throws up 60-70 this week is who they're playing. It'll be interesting.
It might have been the team that they put 100 on last year, to be honest.
One rivalry I watched that I know, the only one I can ever think of that a team ran the ball up in back in the mid 70s. Lewiston and Clarkston both needed head football coaches. Harley Williams was gone, and Dwight Church was gone from coaching. So Lewiston had two assistants, Jay Henry and Mike Wiles, who became head coaches of Lewiston. Jay Henry, Mike Wiles of Clarkston. I don't think they were the best of friends. And it was in Lewiston, and Coach Henry of Lewiston got way ahead, and he kept getting way ahead, and he kept pouring it on. That was a little different than what I saw in the highlights of the Kendrick Genesee game. But as long as they didn't keep throwing bombs, of course, 8-man football too, you're just going to run. And that's what they did. And, Genesee didn't give up. They kept trying to tackle.
And then the last question I got for you, because I mean, obviously you've watched them for years. Is this Lewiston Bengal team for real?
I'll tell you after this weekend.
I honestly, I think that's all of our answers so far.
And not to take anything away from what they've done. They have put up some numbers. They've got some great athletes. I'm surprised at the quarterback doing this well. But Capital's usually pretty good, and they took it to them.
Right.
Late in Utah, they to Lewiston's credit, they got off to a really bad start, and they kind of outplayed them at the end. So let's see what they do against Sandpoint. If they do what they're doing now against Sandpoint, then this is one of their better teams. They can pass. The receivers, when they catch the ball like that, Austin Lawrence last week caught it and went 94 yards. I mean, they catch the ball, they're gone. James White is incredible running and catching. So tell you next week,
right?
What I think. But as of right now, if you say the teams are playing are not bad, then they're one of the better teams you've seen in a long time.
I think Sandpoint's only 1-2 on the season, so they're down a little bit from where they were at. If I remember right, I looked at it earlier. They're 4A.
But either way, obviously there's no volleyball going on this weekend, so that I think that's the place to be. is Binglefield Friday night.
Yeah.
Sandpoint, Lewiston. I think it's gonna be really good. Are you guys at home?
Yeah, we're home. We host in West
You don't
Valley.
need to watch that game.
We host in West Valley. Right now, we're 2-1 on the year. They only lost again to Lewiston, but
And by we, he's talking about Clark.
yes, I know.
Yeah, Sandpoint 1 and 2 right now.
Yeah, so
1 and 2.
but yeah, Clarkson takes on West Valley. Didn't get to see much of any of their film yet, so it'll be interesting. That's tomorrow's job. Do a little scouting for Coach Bly.
Yeah, Sandpoint played a team from Utah, lost 16-15, and then lost to Coeur d'Alene, who's also kind of having a down year, but is a very good team normally. Coeur d'Alene beat Sandpoint 27-15, excuse me, and then they got their first win against Homedale 28-21. So
Yeah, so they're not giving up points.
No.
So if they give up 49 or 52, like the Bengals have scored the last 3 games, that would, that's going to show something right there.
Right. Do you have a Who Am I?
I do. You
You want to try to help me do this real
I'll
quick?
try. I don't have my Google.
And then you can go back to Google and help me actually get it right later.
What's funny is you'll hurry home and then
Right.
Google it.
Yeah,
you know,
is it a
so
baseball one?
It is not a baseball. There's
Oh,
your first
well,
guess.
crap.
I was born in Salt Lake City, Utah. I won the Utah State Amateur Championship in 2006.
Amateur what?
I had college scholarship offers.
This is
in-
what he does.
Amateur bowling, amateur discus.
makes you think. I had college scholarship offers in basketball, but I turned pro at the age of 17 by playing in the Gateway Tour and GA Tour and the National Pro Tour. My last one I'm going to give you now. My brother and I competed in a TV show competition in 2013. That's all you get for this one.
All right. What weird athlete did like Amazing Race or
Is he a
something?
golfer? Is he a golfer?
I don't know. He might be.
You do know? I don't know, he says.
He
I
was
forget
an
who I
amateur or
even picked.
something. Had to be a golfer. He turned pro at 17.
Well, it's only golf and tennis that really
Who
do
has a
that.
golfer that's a brother?
Mhm.
Let's go with John Daly. John Daly have a brother?
No, that is not right. So that's your first guess.
I was going to say
Dude,
John McEnroe.
I love following his stuff on
Oh man.
social media right now. He is just a riot.
Does he live out of that RV?
I think so.
I see that.
He is constantly on that RV and doing things, going out. I wonder if he plays for side pot and plays for side money and all that, and goes and hustles money.
Oh, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. He talks about his what is it, Missouri moonshine and all that.
Yeah.
His Missouri water, but he is just a hoot to follow and listen to some of the stories and what he talks about.
Instead of a caddy, he has a keggy, which is the guy that carries his keg.
That sounds about like John Daly.
All right, Denny. Well, we definitely appreciate you.
Well, I
Hey,
got
you've
something
always
for you.
been on there for-
Congratulations,
yeah, go
you
ahead.
guys. I
Yeah.
want to give you another baseball card.
I
This guy-
add
have
to my
mine
collection.
I know I have mine right up against my a Seth Brown.
Nice.
This is
That
Seth Brown,
awesome.
another card that has something about Lewis Clark State on the back. But
That is
yeah,
awesome.
well, thank you. Congratulations
Yeah.
on 100. I enjoy putting funny little things on your Facebook page when you're live just to see your reaction.
All right. Once you figure this out on Google, you let me know.
There you go.
I love
Yeah.
it. On the back of Seth's card, it is awesome. This is a really good one. Became the 17th major leaguer from Lewis Clark State
Mhm.
College in Idaho. That is awesome.
Right there on a baseball card. So
That
Oh,
is
and
awesome.
Pickle says hi too.
Pickle was wild this weekend in Seaside, Oregon at the Wiener Dogs Sand Convention, the dock sand, and he got pretty carried away. Probably got hung over a little bit.
I saw Megan. She had pictures of being at the carousel and all that in Seaside, which we took our daughter to our honeymoon, and that's where we had our honeymoon, was in Seaside. And
Yeah, that's-
the guy finally got tired of taking our money because Tori never wanted to leave the carousel, and he just finally let her just start
Oh,
riding.
yeah.
And we sat there. Denise and I had sat there for hours and just watched. She just went around and around in circles.
Crazy.
Crazy.
yeah, fun. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we will definitely see you all over the place here.
All
For
right.
sure.
Appreciate it,
there,
Denny.
Denny. That is the legend King Denny. I mean, the czar of statistician, unbelievable man there. And dude, this guy knows everything. I was scared when you sent me that text last night that said, "I got a game for you."
We failed that game, by the way.
We were close a couple of times, but a little difficult on there. But that's Denny Grubb. He is the man, the myth, and the legend. And you can't say LC without his name in it. So
It's true.
thanks,
All right,
brother.
see you, Denny.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's get in to some NFL.
NFL.
Week 2 happened, and we said,
Your
what?
computer is lagging. Back.
"Is it bad?"
Yeah.
Sweet. It's
I did-
fantastic.
Well, you just typed it. Took an extra second.
Well, you should have had that fixed anyways. You put it all in the notes. I
I
should have to
did.
be fixing our notes. But as I was saying, it's week 2. We said all last week that it's just 1 week.
Yep.
Don't overreact.
Yep.
Just 1 week.
Exactly.
It's now 2 weeks.
Let's forget about Miami, Baltimore, and move on.
No, Jets are going to the Super Bowl. It's been 2 weeks. They got the win. No. Let's talk.
Oh my.
Let's not forget, because let's talk about the 8.5 pages of notes you put on that one game. Dolphins come back, beat your Ravens 42-38. And I just have to ask, because I wasn't around you when you watched this game. We were messaging back and forth throughout all the
Mhm.
craziness
Yeah,
that was
right.
going on Sunday. Did your face look like Sean Pullman's face looked like on Saturday while watching the end of your game?
I think so. You'd have to ask Jimmy, because I was with Jimmy, our buddy Jimmy Madoff, and we were down watching it at a local place. And how many times do you go to the red zone, 4th and 1, and not kick the ball and get points? I'm sorry. You're close enough. You have the number 1 kicker. I think that's what frustrated me the most.
They're
Is,
supposed to have the number 1 rushing team too.
well, JK still hasn't played yet. So, but that's for me. I'm like, how do you keep going down there and not putting points on the board, not knowing what Miami is capable of doing, especially with Tyreek Hill and Waddell and what both of those guys did. I mean, they carved up the defense a bit. Waddell 171 yards, Hill 190 yards.
Mhm.
Just both of those guys looked really well. I think the worst part is seeing Tyreek Hill score twice in less than 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
Obviously we focused on a lot of local stuff, and we're chatting with Denny a lot. So I'm sure our normal out of staters, other than Megan, of course, a little bit of a connection with Denny, but other than her, our normal out of staters, Eric and Robert and stuff, probably weren't hanging around at the moment and probably aren't sticking around for now. So I was hoping to bring this takeout while Robert Taylor was around, but is Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill the best 1-2 punch right now in the NFL?
If you had to look at what some of these offenses had, I would put them in easily in the top 3. I mean,
Who
But
even competes?
I would have probably said, I'm drawing a blank. Mike, I'm thinking next to him. Who's next to Mike Evans? Oh my God. I would
Now
put
Chris
him-
Godwin?
Godwin.
Yeah.
But Godwin didn't play this week.
And Godwin's hurt. Evans is
And now
suspended.
suspended. Well, maybe it depends on it.
Well,
I haven't
he's
seen anything.
suspended.
I haven't seen anything today about
He's
it. but
suspended. He's not going to get that overturned.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
came storming in from the sideline. And we'll talk
well,
about
yeah,
that
we'll
in a
talk
minute.
about that. I would easily put him probably top 1 right now. 2
Yeah.
weeks in, yeah.
I don't think
hands down.
there's another duo even close.
And Bateman looked okay. He finally in that game. But you look, I mean, who did anything with Adams? I mean, who did anything with even with Denver? Jerry Jeudy went down. I mean,
Yeah,
so
a lot of the wide
lot of-
receivers in Denver went down. That was tough for poor Russell Wilson. Went,
Oh
oh
my
wait,
God.
I came to a just as bad of an offensive line, and now all the weapons are hurt.
Mhm.
Speaking of Seattle, I would put Metcalf and Lockett up there. I mean, they don't have the best quarterback to throw it to them, but those two have some pretty good talent. But no, to me, it's Waddle and Hill, and then quite the gap before the next duo. So that was one comeback. Let's talk about the real comeback. The New York Jets. Down
down.
by 13 with under 2 minutes to go. What?
I'm getting messages from my wife to come to my car. Well, I'm like,
He's busy, Denise.
I am like ways away.
He's
don't know.
busy. Down 2 scores because Nick Chubb decides not to slide and pads his stats. And then the Cleveland defense completely forgets their job, which made Joe Flacco look fantastic. And that's all I ever heard. Oh, Joe Flacco is great. I could have made that pass.
Right.
Corey Davis was 30 yards behind them. I don't know how that happened. Onside kick goes perfectly for the Jets. They go down and win. It's a good win. I joke about the Super Bowl. I don't think this is them turning it around, but I did like a lot that I saw.
You're a Joe Flacco fan now.
I'm not. I'm a Garrett Wilson fan. He looked fantastic for a rookie. A lot of the rookie wide receivers this week looked really good. Mr. Sauce still has not really given up anything through 2 weeks. Nearly gave up a touchdown, but they overturned it. He left for a little bit with a concussion or concussion protocol. I believe he came back in the 4th quarter. But the young guys are looking good for the Jets. And now they're playing Cincinnati next week, who, what is going on with the Bengals? They're 0-2. Joe Burrow, who, had his appendix removed, might need something else removed if he keeps getting hit by defenders as much as he is. What is going on with Cincinnati?
That's just ugly. I mean, they should have been able to.
Why is she yelling at you so
I know
much?
she's sending me something. If you're listening, Denise, you
She
have
is.
to be.
She just messaged now.
There's a trailer that's parked in the foyer or in the driveway there. Just bring what you're bringing this way. I don't know. She's doing something. I don't.
She
know.
is throwing this show into complete disaster, which is, perfect for episode 100. I think.
No, Joe Burrow, I think is just he hasn't looked the same the last 2 games. And
Well,
he's just not.
How can he? The offensive line
lose?
is so bad.
How do you lose with Dallas throwing their Cooper Rush at him? It's just-
God.
that
Of
is
course,
just-
that was gives just Cowboy fans freaking out
Yeah,
about
exactly.
Cooper Rush. Stop it, Cowboy fans. The Eagles are going to dominate that division.
Right.
Also, stop it, Giants fans. You're not good. They're 2-0, surprisingly. But that also brings in, are the Titans that bad? Titans lost to the Giants and then just got steamrolled by Buffalo last night.
I think part of it though is honestly, everybody's down on New York Giants. I think they're playing a lot better, up a little bit. I don't think they're going to be.
They're not going to be.
Contender. They might be.
They're not going to be a
they-
top 5 pick. Like I
No,
was
they
thinking.
won't be a top 5 pick, but they're still going to be. I think a lot better. But yeah, they haven't got Derrick Henry going. They haven't. That whole mix up. Who is Tannehill throwing to? I mean, that's the biggest thing for Tennessee.
It's Derrick Henry and nothing now that they got rid of AJ Brown. What else really surprised you? Let's talk about the Cardinals comeback win.
Wow.
Down 20-0 at one point. The ridiculous of Kyler Murray. Like, if you just stopped time at halftime of that
Mhm.
game, are people talking about
17-0.
Kyler Murray just being overrated and it's just not going to work out for them anymore? And the Cardinals made a mistake for paying him. Then all of a sudden, comeback win, and now we're all just switching over to, what's going on with the Raiders? The Raiders are supposed to be good. The NFL's fun.
Right. It was what was 17-0 or something. Was
It's
the
either 17-0
score
or 20-0.
at halftime, and then all of a sudden they just turned it on. It was like a light switch went on, and the score 16 unanswered points. To just to get into overtime.
Mhm.
What he can do with his feet. Yeah, are they a little bit harder on him than some people think? I think so, with Kyler, but can he prove himself to be a person that can take this team a step farther.
Mhm.
We know how bad Seattle has dropped off. They got lucky last week.
Yes.
And so I think they could put up a shot. Exactly what they proved.
Will you
but
focus on the show?
I'm trying to figure out what this is. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying, and I'm watching how many people are walking around out. Who knows?
Jeez, just
Yeah.
one thing, and then
I know,
you just get
I know.
completely distracted.
I'm totally.
Absolutely bad. Let's talk about San Francisco. You brought them up. They come back at the big win against Seattle. That was an easy win, I think, for the 49ers. Unfortunately, they do lose Trey Lance for the year. He break his ankle, in two
Mhm.
spots, right?
2 spots.
Had successful surgery on Monday. So at least that went okay. But I hate to say it. It's a positive for the 49ers.
I think it is a positive with right now because now you look at the ownership and saying, haha, there was a reason why we held on to him. I don't know if I like that. Listening to
Why not?
a couple of the guys say, because I do think Trey Lance is talented.
Yeah.
I think he's very talented.
And so is Jimmy G.
And so, yeah, but so it's going to come down to, or is it going to be if San Francisco can make the playoffs and make a playoff run, does next year come down to, okay, here we go, we got another race again, or do they sign Jimmy G to another deal and then you've got the whole situation?
No, they
back
won't
up
re-sign
again?
him. He won't sign there. He will probably move on. They may want to, but I think he would be the one to move on. We already talked about Mike Evans. He's going to be suspended for one game for a fight.
Listen,
You think it's Brady's fault?
it is all Brady. Hey, you look at, listen. Yes,
I wanna
he's
hear it.
old.
Let me hear it.
He's old. He's kind of the face of the team. But when you yell at Lattimore, and Lattimore,
Lattimore
has
was
a chip on.
chirping.
He has a chirping. But when you see Tom Brady mouth obscenities towards Lattimore,
Who is probably throwing the
probably
same ones
same-
at him.
and that's the thing, you don't see, but you see the words coming out of him, and then you watch Brady take a couple steps towards Lattimore.
Yeah.
He's just as much into this as, and I think that's half of it.
Oh, you can
Brady's
John.
gonna fly.
John
fire
is no
for more.
fun. I mean, Brady's not going to take it.
Yeah.
Brady's 108 years old. He don't care anymore.
Throw a temper tantrum. Let's go over to the sideline. Throw a tablet. What does that prove? You're 42 years old and you still throw a
Yeah.
temper
How many
tantrum
rings
like
does
a
the
little
dude
baby.
have?
It doesn't matter about rings with that.
Like a little baby.
You did.
Just
He throws
jealousy for Tom Brady is insane.
I hate Tom Brady.
Yeah, because he's good.
No, it's not because he's good. It's he acts like he's a prima donna. He acts more almost as a prima donna list of some of the basketball players. Dude, if you're gonna get out there and yell obscenities just as much as he is, get your butt in there, and you can go in there and shove Lattimore too. If you're gonna get in there, get in there.
No, he can't shove Lattimore because he would hurt him with all the rings that
That's
are on
the-
his fingers.
If he's gonna throw that, get in there. Get in there. If you're gonna rough it up and you're gonna talk,
No, you can
Back it
talk
up.
trash. Talking trash, there's nothing wrong with it. And Evans kind of went a bit too far running in there and straight shoving the man. But
geez,
so much just hate for Tom Brady. I don't
don't-
understand it.
I don't like him. Don't like him, and especially how he jaws so much. He looks like he's lost some weight too.
Is that why you're mad at him? Are you jealous because he's losing weight?
No, he looks like he's lost some weight this year too.
It's that TB12 stuff that he's doing.
It's got to be something. It's got to be the home life, mom. his
No,
wife
he
and-
didn't want the home
wife
life.
and-
That's
yeah,
why he
wife and
came
kids.
back. That's why he retired and unretired. He went home and went, never mind.
The wife said she left something in my car for us.
Oh, goodness. She
She
couldn't
was
even
trying to-
walk it
she
this
was-
way.
Well, she didn't know where to go. That's the problem. Well, I guess.
Anyways, what was your game of the week?
For mine, it's got to be that comeback. Cardinals come back, score 22 unanswered, 4th and 6. In overtime, the Scoop would score. Just the fourth quarter of the game was just
Yeah,
crazy
It
game.
was pretty crazy. For me, it's the Dolphins, Ravens. It's not even a dig at you. I don't want to see Tua do great because then that makes me look dumb because I always thought Tua was no good. I still don't think Tua is that great. But what Tua did in that fourth quarter with Waddle and Hill to Baltimore is very, very impressive. And Miami's defense obviously stopping Baltimore. But
400 plus yards and 6 touchdowns. And, you know, and Lamar had, I mean, same thing, 300 plus yards with 3 touchdowns, 100 yards rushing. So, I mean, that game was full of some offense, you know. We didn't even talk about Duvernay running the ball back on the kickoff for
to start
the
game.
game. And I mean, that was come out all firing.
I would have liked to have said I watched more of that game, but DirecTV Sunday Ticket completely crapped the bed for like an hour for everybody yesterday.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble now.
Yeah, I am dissing you, Denise. You could just walk a little bit. You have Robert so distracted over here.
Just walk past the trailer in the middle of a lot, you know, and walk down to the building.
I'm trying to get Robert refocused over here, and all he has done is turned his head looking outside every 2 seconds. One thing I want to get on before we move on to some other football talk before we get our other guests in is the NFL now has had 2 ridiculous weeks to start this year, especially in that 12:30 p.m. Pacific time to 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. That ending of the morning games are always so nuts. So I'm just going to run through the morning games that we have on Sunday.
This Sunday?
This Sunday.
Okay.
I want you to tell me the one game that you think is going to be the must see for that little hour window.
Okay, you got to focus.
Okay, please.
I'm going to close my eyes and focus and listen to Randy's voice.
You got Texans and Bears, Raiders and Titans, Chiefs and Colts, Bills and Dolphins, Lions and Vikings, Ravens and Patriots, Bengals and Jets. There's so many more than I thought there were. Jeez. Eagles and Commanders, and Saints and Panthers, which is that one game that you think is going to have that crazy ending.
And for me, I think it's got to be the Indianapolis game. Indianapolis has got to have something to prove after getting shellacked.
I think that's going to be a blowout.
You think so?
Straight blowout.
I haven't even.
And I had the Colts in the AFC Championship game, and I would like to have that prediction back.
Yeah, because you look at, I haven't even looked yet to see where they are right now. The Chiefs are favored by 7.
Yeah, on the road.
But I would think the Colts have something to prove. They're already down 1, you know, lost 1. They've already got the one tie of the year. So I mean, there's got to be something to happen. The other one probably have to be Bills and Dolphins. As much as we talked up, you know, the number 1. Miami Dolphins and what they're doing receivers wise, it's going to be quite interesting with that one. So,
to me, go with the Eagles and Commanders. Get the NFC East rivalry. The Eagles playing really, really good right now, but on the road. I don't think the Commanders are going to win this game, but I think the ending could be pretty crazy.
Yeah, 6.5 point favorite right now. The over under is 47.5. So they must be thinking that it's going to be a little bit high scoring game too, but it will be. There's a lot of games that could easily be something good to come out of.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's touch on college football just real quick.
We didn't do our Thursday night one.
Oh, let's do that.
All right,
it's such a bad game.
It is, but we have to do it.
Right, we got Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. Who wins, and will Amazon work?
Give me Brissett. I'm going to take Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cleveland as well. And no, Amazon's not going to work at all. That was a rough feed.
I didn't,
especially working over at Lancers, and they have different Rokus on different TVs just to get things to work. And all 3 TVs were on different spots. No joke. There was one TV. The game is over, and there was one TV that had 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's
just because it buffered so much for them.
Hopefully, Amazon was better.
Oh God, Sunday Ticket was bad too. It was. Oh, and we got to do the eliminators too.
All right.
So I took New England, eliminated them last week. You eliminated Houston. You took my pick, so I decided to change it so we'd be a little different. But we both went to the same division.
First,
I said you got it first.
I know. I'm going to take Atlanta. Yeah. They just as much as I would love to see Desmond Ritter finally get in there. I don't think he'll get in there for
And
till
even if
mid-year.
he gets in there, he's not going
I
to
don't
fix
think
this
it'll help
team.
it.
I'm going to take Carolina. It's a mess. They've lost both their games, 0-2. The crazy thing is, since they've expanded the playoffs and added one extra team in each conference,
Mhm.
no team that's 0-2 has made the playoffs.
Yeah.
You would think that it would help them, but it's not. Let's touch on college football real quick because it wasn't that great of a week.
I think
I-
there's too much hype with Appalachia State. I think that was the only hype game.
Well, the
at
App
all.
State and Troy, just because College Game Day was there, and Pat McAfee is always bringing the hype over there, and then the Hail Mary was nuts.
Luke Combs in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I even showed Alicia that
Mhm.
Hail Mary. That was crazy.
So that was
play.
great. Your only major upset really was Washington defeating number 11 Michigan State at home.
Yeah,
One of us called that one correctly.
I don't want to hear it.
And then you had two battles of two ranked teams where the worst seed won. Oregon beat BYU 41-20. I got that one right. Texas A&M defeated Miami, since Eric is here, 17-9. I called that one right.
I don't want
so.
to hear it anymore.
Well, we'll talk about it a little bit when we get to our picks. Also, congratulations to Idaho for getting their first win.
They came out. I watched part of that game before I had to go and do my errands, and it was interesting to watch that one on SWX. So listening to Dennis Patchen try to call that
Mhm.
game and cutting out in and out. So I know you and I talked. You're not going to watch the SWX game this weekend.
No, absolutely not.
Montana State, Eastern Washington,
Absolutely
in
not.
Cheney, the red field.
Worst field in any sport ever. The only one that's a close second, and I'm going to get our next guest opinion on this, is the Oregon Ducks basketball court.
Yes, I hate that court.
Yes.
He
It's so
agrees.
bad.
He agrees.
It is so bad. But no, the red field, it's an eyesore. It's impossible to watch at all.
It's not bad.
All right, introduce our new people. Let me get them in.
All right. Do we want to do the last cut of Who Am I, or are we gonna wait on that one?
Oh wait, we'll
Okay,
wait on it.
We'll wait on that.
They're
that
already
gives
here.
that gives Denny enough time to get home and Google
Yes.
you and help you with the answer.
Yes,
All
I need
right.
the help.
Well, these two,
I don't even know if those headphones
Individuals.
are plugged in, guys. So best of luck.
these two individuals, they are in the running for most guest appearances on the R&R Sports Report. And I don't know, you're leading, I think, aren't you, by a couple?
Oh, I thought we were tied.
It might be close. We
I
gotta
need to do
get
the
close.
research on it, but
We got
I need to-
Alicia
you
and
need to talk in the microphone.
And
That's
Khalil-
weird.
and
Might not have
Khalil.
headphones, but still need the
Right.
mic.
Did you know more?
Yeah, Alicia and Khalil are joining us. How are you guys? You had a busy weekend with
Yeah.
volleyball, so it's
Well, yeah,
crazy.
volleyball and cross country on the road, but two separate meets. So Friday was a long day.
And then Khalil joining us back in here
How you doing?
again. Good man. I don't know if I dig the red LA hat.
Yeah.
I like the red, but
You don't like the LA part?
well,
California.
yeah, no.
Always. No.
Listen, 100 shows. Did you think we were gonna last that long? We thought we were gonna get kicked out. Man,
Hasn't happened yet.
Huh.
Maybe they just forgot we're here.
You've adapted.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
we haven't yet.
Yeah.
We're doing the power of
Yeah.
yet.
You haven't been in studio enough times for them to kick you out.
That's true. We hit it home for about half of these shows.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess so.
So Khalil, we haven't seen you in a little bit since basketball season. What have you been up to?
Well, graduated last May. That was nice. And then now I'm coaching at Lewiston High School, assistant coach there. So, keeping busy,
Mhm.
staying around basketball. Hopefully still play in the future. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's coaching going for you?
Good. I'm enjoying it.
Mhm.
Working with the kids, teaching, just letting them see what my game was and,
Mhm.
just giving them tips.
Are you going to be an animated coach for me to talk about? Because I'm doing Lewiston basketball again.
Are you?
I've talked to the powers that be,
Okay.
and at least home games right now.
Perfect.
There's sponsors out there that want to sponsor more so we can do the road games too.
Yes. Yes.
Go talk to
That's
Lee
it.
McVeigh. But right now we're doing at least home games and some select road games is what I was told today. I need you to be super animated.
Okay.
And I need to be able to go nuts. We had a volleyball game this weekend where I thought Sean Pullman was going to get ejected,
Yeah.
and he kept his cool I need you to
did.
not keep your cool.
Mhm.
Oh, well, I don't know. As the assistant, I might not be able to be as animated, but I can give you some.
All right.
some
I
tidbits for
appreciate
sure.
it.
Are they going to have as many coaches as they have in the past sitting on the bench?
I don't think
Oh
so.
my
I
God.
think this year we only have 3 right now, and I don't know if they're
Let's,
gonna add
let's
more.
cut in
Jason,
thirds.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
Jason had like 9 coaches sitting on the bench at one point.
Oh, there hasn't been 9 coaches at practice. So.
It's odd
say
that
that.
they've already started basketball practice up there. I mean,
Oh, well,
we finally
We're
started
just doing like
announcing.
workouts.
Mhm.
We don't technically just start practice, I think, till like November-ish.
Mhm.
So almost practice time, but still getting a lot of good work in and a lot of individual work. So
We've had other coaches on, especially at the high school level, where as a basketball coach, you have to get through football first, and even as an assistant coach, and you're just getting kind of used to these kids right now.
Mhm.
Are you kind of holding your breath on Fridays, hoping that some of your big basketball players don't get hurt during the football game, or are you not there yet?
I haven't been to a game yet. I've been out of town for the last 2.
Yeah.
So I plan to go this Friday
There you go.
to the first game. But yes and no. Our football guys are pretty tough, so I want them to go out there, still play hard, But I guess that's always in the back of my mind, injuries pertaining to my sport, and so they could be around wintertime. But I would never, probably not, just as an athlete, you just go out and play.
Yeah, we've had Zach Eastman on, the Lapway coach. He goes, I can't even watch.
Really?
Like, he can't
Oh, yeah.
watch.
Well,
He waits, and if somebody texts him at that time, he gets nervous.
Mm.
Well, even Coach Justin Jones, I mean, you grew up with Justin. He did the same thing with Trevor and Tommy Sperry. And then, when True and Trayvon were playing, same thing was going through. It's like, okay, I can't watch this game because these guys are my guys that are playing.
Mhm.
So same with, I think he got lucky when Jet decided, no, I'm not going to play football,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, he did the same thing with AJ, and he did the same with Caden Frazier. Caden didn't play near as much, but still that what if thing comes out.
Yeah.
It's different from where we grew up because Khalil and I went to the same high school and we didn't have as many multi-sport athletes. I had a coach who basically said, if you want to be on varsity, you can't play another sport because there were so
that would
many
drive
kids
me
in our
nuts.
high school. They didn't need everybody to play every sport.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. We didn't have that much crossover at all, actually.
Mhm.
But
Marcus.
Well, okay, well, if you want to play in the NFL, maybe play multiple
Yeah.
sports, sure.
But speaking of injuries, we talked about it a little bit with Denny Grubb earlier. Volleyball is kind of going through a bit of a rough stretch. It seems like, I mean, they had 4 games at home, and I feel like we've lost 4 of the players on that team through those games.
I mean, we have a couple that have had not even injuries, just illness issues, and they haven't been able to. I think one of those 2 have played in a couple matches, and then just volleyball is such a wear and tear sport. You see a girl go up, and half the time they come down wrong, and it's either it could be non-contact, it could be a contact injury. It's terrifying sometimes watching volleyball because you land wrong and you're done for a little while. But we do have a couple older girls sideline, which has impacted us a little bit. We did have somebody who left the match on Saturday who hopefully will be back pretty soon. Obviously, I can't say specifics, but it's the nature of sports, and it's unfortunate, and it does impact the team. So it's obviously a bummer. So we're wishing the best and hoping that people get back to the court pretty soon.
And then you have Kenzie Dean, who you can just throw a stick of dynamite at, and
Oh
she'll
my
be back
gosh.
at the next play.
That girl was getting beat up all weekend. Did you see her just pick her arm up on Saturday and her elbows covered in blood, and they just changed her jersey and she's back out there like nothing.
She's like, she didn't want to miss the play. They're like, we got to change your jersey. She almost just did it there.
They just taped it. They taped
Yeah.
that jersey for the play, and then in between sets she changed her, or at a timeout she changed her jersey.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not missing anything.
how?
She's come up limping multiple times. Coach
Oh,
would go
yeah.
out there and talk to her. She's like, I'm fine.
And the thing with volleyball players is they fall down. I mean, they're taught how to do it. They just fall so gracefully.
Mhm.
And
I was telling him in Denny in the last hour, I ran into her after Denise and I had dinner, and we went grocery shopping, and there she is walking through Winco. Asked her, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. I'll be ready. I'm like,
Yeah.
She had it all kind of
Mhm.
with a little wrap on it, but it's just like, I'm good.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just-
Mhm.
Callie Stevens is my intern, and I look at her sometimes. I'm like, how come you can't fall that gracefully? Because every time Callie falls down, I get scared because she just hits so hard. Hodges Bailey, same thing. When he would hit,
Hodges gave everybody like heart attacks
Every
almost when he
time.
would fall.
you just hear the big old thump.
So there you go. We just need the basketball players to do a couple volleyball practices
Yeah.
Maybe.
and learn how to fall.
so you playing? Did you ever get injured bad enough falling.
Oh
So no, I'd be 100%.
No,
with
go
you.
ahead.
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to show him your arm?
I can.
Dang, what
So
the?
there's a scar on this side and I have one on this back side here. Yeah, falling. Went up for a layup conference championship game right before COVID.
Yeah.
And we were playing Carroll. Guy came over to take a charge. A little late, I feel. They gave him the charge. But yeah, I put my arm down to kind of protect myself from something, and something had to go. So
It was your arm. And then
That's the first thing that you do.
His
Don't
mom
put your
called
arm
me.
down.
I had Khalil's mom calling me because he was on the bench and not on the
Mhm.
court anymore. And I'm just like, I don't know where he is. And he just sees me walking over and looks at me and he goes, "It's my mom on the phone." I'm like, yeah, it's your mom on the phone.
I already knew.
Yeah.
You know? That's funny. But yeah, that's my one and only injury, fortunately, from falling or anything like that.
And he didn't miss any time.
Nope.
'Cause
COVID happened next
That
week.
was the last game.
So it's your fault.
Shouldn't have went up for a layup.
You don't go up for that layup, then COVID never happened.
Yeah,
I think
what
we
it
have
was.
solved it.
I hear you. If I could go back, I would.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, the LA hat going on. We know about your Angels love.
They're winning right now.
We
I
haven't
gotta
even,
get excited when
we haven't even looked at this.
Okay, she's
scoreboard
happy
yet.
about
it's
them
5-2.
winning right now, but I was going to more bring up the fact that you were eliminated yesterday.
Oh,
We almost swept the
Oh.
Mariners. I mean, it was kind of a flashback to last year when all the Mariners had to do was beat the Angels and then they didn't.
Mm.
I was seeing that again. Yeah.
She already booted me on Saturday. She said that you've been traded. You know, I work for, and then now she's gonna bash on the
Yeah.
Mariners.
I mean, the Angels are done. The fact that they're playing a team that's another team that's also out of contention. So
Yeah.
it's just for, I don't even know what we're doing it for right now.
For fun,
For
I
fun.
think.
Well,
For
I
the
mean,
kids.
yesterday wasn't fun.
Yeah, for the kids.
For the
I agree.
kids. Kids could come to the game. Kids should be free.
The Dodgers are doing the same thing. They're just
Trust me,
playing.
I've been to plenty of Angel games for free at this point in the year because they've been that bad.
So, so I have to ask this: with so many storylines going on right now in MLB, between our Pujols close to 700, your Dodgers chasing 116, our Judge
striking out with
the
the bases loaded to jerk.
Wainwright and
Yachty.
Mhm.
Yachty passing. Which one stands out or is more impressive happening right now? Do you think?
I mean, for me, it's Pujols just because he was an Angel for a long time, and I was a Pujols fan before he was an Angel, and no one ever gets that close. No, who was the last person to get that close? Barry Bonds, and that was when we were young. So that's really impressive to me. The Aaron Judge thing, it's cool, but Albert Pujols' number is just
Mhm.
who else is going to do that anytime soon?
So we're I think I have it in the notes. We're like he's got 14 games in. Can he get the other 2 home runs?
He's got the postseason too. Well, does that count?
Those don't count.
Oh wait, then my husband lied.
Because we've talked about it.
Mhm.
We would love if he doesn't get it. We want him. I think he'll get it.
Okay.
We want him to come back.
Yeah, just
Play another
don't
year.
retire.
Don't retire.
Mhm.
Play one
Come
more
back,
year.
hit
Just to get to
700,
home
and then retire.
I bet you if he doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. If he came back, if he doesn't get there, he'll come back.
With him being that close. What did A-Rod retire with? 694, 692?
696.
Yeah, Albert had just recently passed him,
Yeah.
but A-Rod was kind of
I
run
was-
out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a little bit different situation.
Mhm.
He was kind of at that point just getting into too much trouble.
Mhm.
I mean, Tim Salmon when he retired at 399, and I just remember sitting there watching his last game, like, just someone throw a meatball down the middle. The Angels aren't going anywhere. Just let him hit 400.
You always wonder in those kind of moments, because obviously the catcher is going to have that conversation with the batter just on every at bat. But you just wonder if they're going, all right, fastball. Like I go back and watch Jeter's last at bat where he has the walk off, right? The last at bat at Yankee Stadium. He ended up doing a little bit at Fenway and doing nothing there. But last at bat at Fenway or at Yankee Stadium gets the walk off hit. And every time you watch that play, the catcher talks to him a little bit like he does always, but you just have that conspiracy in your mind. It's like, all right, Jeter, fastball.
Mhm.
Just
Who do the Cardinals play last couple series?
come on, Mr. Schedule, man.
I'm looking right now.
Danny Grubb. Aging Danny Grubb.
Right.
Denny was at volleyball. I'm sure he talked about it.
Yeah, he had a lot of fun with it.
Well, what was
I forgot
he
it-
writing down?
Stats. That's what he does.
Well, I know, but
And then you kept giving him the stats, and then he joked with me. I don't know if you saw him a couple times going, "Nah, these are wrong."
don't get me started. They were fine. What by the time
Well,
the match
he-
was over, they were fine.
He was still learning some of the other. I'm still
Yeah.
learning what different things are. But
Yeah, I've been training Joe Ball how to call for volleyball, and there's
Mhm.
so many little things that people don't realize are stats or not stats. Like how many things are not actually a dig.
All right, so here's who St. Louis has. They've got at San Diego, who Wainwright is pitching right now.
Yep.
Then they've got the Dodgers at LA, at Milwaukee, and then this is the craziest one. This is why I remember it. Then they have the next 6 games against Pittsburgh. 3 at home, 3
Mhm.
at Pittsburgh.
yeah,
Same.
because we get that the last series now was supposed to be the opening series or
Right.
one of the opening series before.
Oh, because there
the
was a
lockout.
delayed start.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
mean, you've got teams that are in contention and have already clinched, but then you end 6 straight games on a team that's going nowhere, who
Yep.
has nothing to lose.
Mhm.
So why not throw them a meatball?
Yeah.
If he's
Absolutely.
at $6.99 and you
Yeah.
have,
I have not looked
4
at the
games.
starting
Yes, I
roster.
suppose.
So right now, the Clevenger is pitching for
Mhm.
San Diego today. Snell will pitch tomorrow. Musgrove on
I
Thursday.
mean, he's getting the good part of the rotation.
Yeah, maybe if he doesn't get there before, he's getting against Milwaukee because
Yeah.
I mean that's a home run hitting park.
And then you look at Khalil with his Dodgers. They've got Henney, Kershaw, and Anderson pitching this weekend. So
Heaney had a good start his last time out. Wish he would have done that with the Angels. It's fine. It's
Sorry,
fine.
Okay.
next year.
So I had warned Alicia before, and then she completely ruined my thunder by agreeing
Oh,
with
I know
me.
where this is. Yeah.
But I was hoping, as an Angels fan, she was going to argue with me about Judge or Ohtani as the MVP.
Right.
So, as an Angels fan, will you correct these silly people that think Ohtani is the MVP?
I'm sorry. It's not going to be Ohtani.
I don't think so.
He was a much better pitcher than he was a hitter this year, which is opposite of last year. I mean, he
Mhm.
was good at both, but he was a better pitcher this year. He had good offensive numbers, but not anywhere near what Judge is putting up. He's having a historic season. And Ohtani, I love the Angels. I do. And I love that he got it last year. I love that Trout's gotten it 3 times, but it's really hard to justify giving it to a player on a team that's not going anywhere. Aaron Judge, for a little bit, he was carrying the Yankees because
Yes.
they had that really bad skid for a while, and they are still leading the division. With him being a major part of that.
Still the crazy stat for me with Aaron Judge is 59 home runs. 39 of them came with nobody on base
Mhm.
because nobody can get on base in front of him. And many of those home runs tied or took the lead just single-handedly. That's just what he's been doing. It's just my favorite argument with the Ohtani stuff is he's pitching better. His back still hurts. Yes, Judge's back is definitely in pain. But the Ohtani MVP crew like to go, well, he's playing better this year than last year.
No.
Well, so is Judge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Judge is like on the doorstep of the Triple Crown, on top of having the most home runs ever in the American League, plus all these walks, plus being a great center fielder, even though he's 6'10". It's sorry.
Mhm.
It's like, yes, I'm a Yankee fan and I want to see him and be the MVP, but there's no argument
Yeah,
here,
there's no
especially if
argument.
he breaks these records.
Mhm.
Exactly, 100%. So you didn't answer the other part of that question. So which out of these milestones that are happening right now, which one?
I would probably
big
side
for
with
you?
Alicia on the Albert Pujols milestone, just because, like she said, Barry Bonds is like the last person to really get that high of a number. So
Mhm.
I've watched Albert Pujols. I don't watch a lot of baseball, but like Albert Pujols is somebody I've watched since a kid. So definitely would like to see that.
Yeah. So with his he's got 19 homers this season. He is second most after the age of 42 to Carlton Fisk. He just passed it, and he's behind Barry Bonds. But just crazy numbers.
Yeah.
What he's doing at 42. Him and I agree. I mean, I would love to see him come back 90. At
Yeah.
43
Yeah.
and play that. He's playing that role right now that I love so much. You see the players going over
Oh,
to
yeah.
him and
Mhm.
just listening, just being that guy right now. And I think, how do you leave that?
But I mean, it's almost poetic how he's going out with Yachty and
Yeah,
Adam Wainwright.
Mhm.
and he's already been celebrated at different stadiums. They celebrated him at the All-Star game. Granted, they celebrated Miguel Cabrera too at the All-Star game, and he hasn't really announced a retirement thing. I thought that was a little strange. Why not
Mhm.
do that with Yachty, who's arguably one of the greatest catchers of all time? I go back and forth with it though, because everybody wants him to get to 700, but he's already been celebrated because he is retiring. So it's a weird situation.
I'll get celebrated some more.
It's kind of like having 2 senior days. I know plenty of guys who have done that. Khalil's had 2 senior days.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, in college, there were a couple baseball players I went to school with that had 2 senior days because baseball's super common to redshirt. So it's just like, does he get 2 retirement tours? I mean, or does he hit 700, bat drop, done?
How many senior days did AJ and Riley have for the Warriors?
They only had 1.
It felt like they had 7.
They were here for 5 years. They were here for a while, but they knew
That
like,
also
from the
doesn't
get
feel
go.
like the numbers
It's
right.
probably because we saw them as seniors in high school. So
Yeah,
we
that's
saw
Also
it twice.
true. But I mean, they knew from the get go they were coming back for that 5th year.
Mhm.
Khalil juked us out a little bit.
No,
Did you?
yeah. I knew right around like
Well, he knew,
January-ish
but
time.
he
Well, okay.
wanted to be
He
celebrated
didn't
twice.
get he didn't get
Yes.
2 full senior days though, because he got the virtual senior day.
yeah.
That video was a pain in the butt to put together, and
I
then
enjoyed
the
it.
in-person senior day.
No, I like that video. I watched it actually.
Um,
It's funny you said I watched it like a couple weeks ago.
it was really cute.
Yeah.
It was just a lot. There
All
were
the
so many
family.
of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
There was so many of
It's
you.
like a 30-minute video almost, probably longer.
There was a lot of because that was the year you guys went to
There's
nationals.
6 of us.
It was you, Demique, Hodges, Tristan, Jake, Travis. Is that all of them?
Mhm.
Yeah. I didn't count when I said that. 4, 5, 6,
That's 6. Yeah.
6. Yeah.
You just moved your fingers.
I did. I really did. I didn't actually figure out how many were going up.
I'm starting to see that. Then maybe this is just because I'm processing it. I'm seeing some Denny in her and what
yeah.
she's doing because it
Mhm.
just
You,
is
kind of have
growing-
to do
yeah.
it, but she does.
and
Yeah.
where it's going. I mean,
Denny
your
would have been a
mind,
phenomenal
any steps.
SID if the SID job was what it was now back then, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I mean, I could not do my job without Denny. When I got here, I mean, Denny still does our baseball stats. There was one year where he tried to retire, and I missed him so much, and he came back in the postseason. But even still, whenever I have questions or an SID asks me a question that I don't have an answer to, he's the first person I go to all the time. Or even when I was doing stats at College of Idaho, I hadn't inputted for baseball stats in so long. I was constantly texting him, "What's the proper order for this play? How do I key this in?" Because it had been so long. Because I just
Mhm.
rely on Denny.
Yeah, and Denny's absolutely great. We talked to him a little bit about all of the older sports that had been here at LC. There were some interesting ones. How would you do the agate? What was it? Now I'm always forgetting.
Yeah.
The last one he talked about. I called it the extreme cross country hiking, right?
Oh, the
It was
hiking
yeah,
one, yeah.
there was a hiking sport
For a
here.
Like
Sure.
a championship
For a
sport.
letter.
Like
I
there was
guess.
a varsity.
You can get a letter in hiking, is what Denny said. How would you get the agate for that?
What's an agate?
I guess it's a paper
a letter,
term.
basically a letter.
It's all the stats.
I still wonder how. I mean, C of I has so many sports, and Southern Oregon just added cycling. College of Idaho has downhill skiing. There's some interesting sports out there. All the Montana schools
There's
have rodeo. We had rodeo at one
yeah.
point.
Mhm. There's some Cascade Conference schools that now have esports.
Yeah. Bushnell. I know Bushnell for sure has
Mhm.
esports.
When I was getting volleyball stats, I saw that they had an esports thing.
And we were talking about it. It'd be cool to see, LC get a softball team.
Yeah.
Do a
but
rowing. Yeah, I know.
It's not
Do a
gonna-
rowing thing. So Denny kind of put a just wait kind of feeling about softball.
I have a hard time thinking we will add softball just for Title IX purposes. With everything that baseball has, it would be very difficult to make it equitable.
Mhm.
Giving them a field, a hitting facility, a video board, and making it equitable. We don't have enough space for it, and at this point, that'd be so expensive. Don't get me wrong; I'd be first in line to apply to coach,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't think it's gonna
Do you think it's more likely we would get a female soccer team?
No, that's that.
I think it's more likely that we could see a dance team.
I don't know how to do play-by-play for a dance team, so
Me
I-
either. But I mean, we had soccer at my alma mater, and soccer was super fun to work. So it was an easier sport to cover, super easy to stat because there's not much to stat with
Mhm.
soccer. I'm not upset that we don't have football.
Yeah, I hear you on that one.
Working football just looks like, for one SID, way too much work on top of other fall sports. Like, I mean, all of our sports are competitive, so
Mhm.
adding another sport in there would just, the fall's busy.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I
Plus, the people I've asked to stat football already have other responsibilities that they wouldn't be able to help me with football.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I get the look. Yeah, that might be changing. I don't know. So I want to ask you a little something here, and I know you have taken a bigger step in AIA stuff, and all of us are so proud of it and where you are going with this. Talk a little bit about. You have an upcoming event where you're moderating
Oh, gosh.
here next in 2
Tuesday.
days.
No. It's a week.
Is it a week? Okay. Is it a week?
It's a week.
I was trying to find the article and all
Does it
that,
do-
but
So yeah, I was sports information directors, the national board of directors, and I oversee the committee for continuing education. And they're kind of big shoes to fill, but almost no shoes to fill because that committee wasn't really active last year. Basically, what this committee is, the purpose is putting together webinars and helping continuing education for sports information directors. So we had our first committee meeting, came up with some good topics, and one of the ones that came to mind was nominating for academic awards because there's so many new SIDs, especially at the NAI level. And we have the Daktronics NAI scholar athletes that the last 2 or 3 years were all bunched together. They just came out like last week. Last week, all fall, winter, spring. They're going back to doing it by season. So the fall sports, those nominations are due on the 30th, which is next Friday. And then we have formerly known as COSIDA, that's now College Sports Communicators. Those academic awards are due in November, but everybody has academic conference. Ours are due in October. So what our webinar is going to do is help walk SIDs through this process of nominating these student athletes for these awards. And we're like, this is a great topic. Everybody should know how to do this because it can be confusing for newer SIDs. The only problem is the first deadline is September 30th. So we had to turn this one around super quick. They started advertising for it yesterday. I've got, luckily, the 2 people who are going to be the panelists are on the committee with me. But because it's such a short turnaround, normally we go out and find other people to moderate. Yeah, I'm the moderator because there's not a ton of time. So I get to, no, I'm a typical SID. I don't like being on camera. I don't like talking in front of people. But guess what? I mean, luckily I'm talking to other SIDs, and it's only open to people who are dues paying members of the College Sports Communicators. But it's going to be good. I'm excited. We're going to have webinars every other month. And then in between those sessions, we're going to have like informal coffee shops where SIDs can come together and network and pick each other's brains and just hang out virtually, because our jobs, they differ from school to school, but at the core, everything we do is it's a common goal of promoting our student athletes and telling those stories. And it's a stressful job. So having somebody that relates to the issues and just the stresses that you're going through is really helpful. I know I'm a mentor for the SID at Corbin, and we talk just about every day. And it's not always about SID work. It's just sometimes you just need something else to talk about than work, which you guys all know that's almost all I talk about is work. I love my job, but sometimes you just need to talk about something else. But yeah, big deal. I feel like a big kid now, being trusted with this responsibility. I'm the only one on the board under 30, so it's wild. I'm a big kid. I'm buying a house.
So
I'm on a national
the
board.
training wheels are off now.
Oh, they're done.
You are
Those came off
screaming down.
those came off in 2020 when we had to, or 2021 when we had to cram all 3 seasons into the spring. That's when the training wheels came off.
So you're no breaks going down the Lewiston Hill full.
Oh, yes, no breaks. Oh yeah, 100%. Once the first volleyball match of the season starts, we're going.
Yeah, that's how I met Alicia. Just hi, bye.
Basically.
That was 2021 for her. Just
Oh my gosh.
she'd come up to the press box at the baseball field and say, check out for a minute, and then off she was to tennis.
Because we had two
and then volleyball was
matches
going
happening
on.
at the
Yep.
same time in the gym.
I was like, I got senior day for this, so we got this going on, and cross country's up in the orchards, and she had all sorts of fun stuff.
We hosted so much that year
Mhm.
because we hosted opening rounds for basketball, both men and women. We had 3 or 4 cross country meets, some of them in the snow. We had baseball all the time. We were in Idaho, so we were one of the only 2 schools that could host volleyball for the Cascades. So we had multiple weekends of 2-court volleyball. And if I could survive that year, I can. And that's what we all say. We can do anything, because that year was absolutely absurd, and it was fun. I got to go to Kansas City with you guys. It was that year.
Yeah.
So a lot of our sports were just excelling, and so it was even busier.
Right.
So I want to finish this time up with you guys. You obviously you've moved on, you're assistant coach up there for the Bengals,
Sir.
but I'm sure you still keep in touch with
Yeah.
the men's basketball team here. Obviously, you're
I know people
knee
here,
deep
yeah.
into it for sure.
Yeah.
But tickets just went on, or the season tickets or whatever just went on sale for basketball. What do those two teams look like so far, getting into almost the start of that season?
So I know the women return almost every starter. I think Heidi is the only starter now returning because she graduated, but I think the women are going to be one of the favorites in the conference again for sure. I think they're going to be, in the national rankings, making noise at that level. We've got Callie Stevens coming back. Phenomenal intern, by the way. That girl's a rock star.
Yeah, I told you she won the trade. We had this
we
conversation.
talked about that. I got traded, so
She's awesome.
I mean,
She's
I'm
awesome.
okay with that. I mean, I like that.
Yeah. Maddie Holm returns. Sarah Muehlhausen's back, and they've signed some freshmen who, they had the leading scorer from the GSL from last year. She went to Gonzaga Prep, Satara Bird. So they're going to be good. The men look a lot different this year.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I don't know how many of the guys you know. We have a guy from my hometown. That's exciting
Sure
for
do.
me.
He went to Centennial though.
Yeah, that's not cool. That part. I found out he grew up catty corner from me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's funny.
I grew up right behind Ralph's, and he's on the street that crosses my cul-de-sac.
Oh, okay. I know that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
there's
Small
just
world.
a lot of new faces on that one. I don't know if you have any insight there, because I know you've worked out with them a little bit.
Yeah, no, it should be exciting year for them. Definitely
Mhm.
a lot of new guys, but I think they return a good core. Like Rayon, Silas, Sam, Brennan, Kai for sure. Like they got a good group of guys. So as long as that core stays hungry and
Mhm.
kind of just ups at another level, because you got to do that every year. But as long as they handle what they're supposed to do, I think they'll take another step this year, go a little farther than we did last year for sure.
Yeah, and we haven't had Austin on, but obviously being able to go down and coach with the Spurs for the summer league, you got to think he's been able to come back with a little something. Have you had a good conversation with him?
Yeah, we
Since he
talked.
came back?
I picked his brain after he came back from that, and it's funny. He told me the NBA is just glorified college. Like there's a lot of role players. There's 2 guys on the court that can pretty much do what they want, and then everybody else is a role player. I found that interesting. It's like, wow, even NBA locker rooms are still saying some of the same things like college locker room coaches are trying to get. So I think he learned some things, but I don't think it was too much of an eye opener that it was like a whole new world. So I think they'll be good this year though.
There'll be some good matchups here for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The men will play Providence here and on the road, and they're always a good matchup.
Mhm.
The women play Carroll. We always love that. We always love to beat Carroll.
Yes.
So there's some good non-conference stuff. And the men will host the tournament. The women will play Rocky a few times here, and Rocky did really well last year. So it'll be, and it's a good looking schedule.
Nice. Actually, speaking of schedule, and another point I need to bring up, because usually the schedule worked out for you guys that you were out of town for the Golden Throne game.
Are they in town this year?
Well, you'll be in
you'll
town.
I know I'll be
You'll be
here.
coaching.
I thought you were saying that
No,
like,
I'm
they
just
would be
saying.
here.
I was like, hold on,
Oh.
wait, we didn't talk. What?
Oh, no,
So
yeah.
How excited are you going to be to finally
I'm
to
super- I'm
witness this
excited for it.
ridiculousness that the
Well, I've
Golden
seen it
Throne brings?
once,
Have you?
like as a not participant, but
Mhm.
like just a fan, and that was the most I've seen our gym filled ever.
Oh, you didn't go to the Globetrotters game.
Definitely didn't go to that, but so that might be first, but this was close second. And I've wanted that gym to be that filled ever since I saw that game, for whatever reason.
For me, that's the game of the year.
Yeah.
As much as I called the Lewis and Clarkson game over there for football, for me, knowing sitting there on the table
Mhm.
and not hearing, can't even hear these guys behind me. It is just
It's a crazy
it is
atmosphere.
the atmosphere, and especially what that P1SCA activity center can do to the sound and just being on the floor or
Mhm.
close to the floor
Yeah,
is just
yeah. I'm excited to sit right there on the sideline for
Mhm.
that. definitely looking forward to that.
I'll make sure you have a Bantam shirt on underneath that.
Oh,
suit.
Oh no,
jeez.
I'm gonna be purpled out, especially because purple is my favorite color, so I will definitely be decked
Well, you
out.
went to the right side. I appreciate it.
I will leave at lunch that day and stay clear of the PNFC Activity Center. Otherwise, I will not be able to get out of the building.
It is
Probably.
They
a
line up
crazy night.
so early.
Mhm.
It's insane. Like, we have had a hard time getting out the doors just because they're all lined up, sitting at the doors, ready to come in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll be
Mhm.
covering, obviously, basketball on the road. So I will not be there.
It is
Missing
a
out.
crazy environment.
Yeah, Vista Holiday Tournament you'll be able to check out with Lapway most likely.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of fun
Yeah.
with being Lewiston.
So I'm excited. I'm ready to get our schedule. I don't think our schedule is out yet, but it should be
I haven't
shortly.
seen, I haven't seen
No,
ours
I
either.
looked because I was trying to talk with the boss about different things, and I looked, and I think you have a game with a school down south
Oh, okay.
scheduled,
Yeah.
and then it was like that, and then state.
Mhm. Yeah, so
There's
I
all
think
that's
it'll
on
be
there.
out shortly in a couple weeks.
But guys, I want to thank you.
Thank
I
you.
wanted to go through it and see how many times you guys have been on. I just never had a chance to do it. If you're not tied, it's very, very close. And then we'll have to just rectify it at some point and,
Yeah.
and tie it back up and come back for episode 200. If we're still here, if the building is still here, if this radio stuff is still going, I don't even know what's happening right now with this kind of stuff, but we'll make whatever work.
Always do.
Yes.
But I appreciate both of you.
Thank you for having
Thanks,
me
guys.
on
All
this
right.
one.
That's Alicia and Khalil joining us live here at KLZZ 88.9 and the R&R Sports Report. They're glad to have them in. Crazy special night, 100 shows, and to have folks in and celebrating with us is awesome. Why is Denny messaging Judge? Did Judge
Did he
do
do it?
something? He just
hold on,
messaged on the show.
It's still on mine that he's up to bat. So I'm going to guess, yep, number 60 just went down. Of course, it's a solo home run when he struck out with the bases loaded.
How many games, though? How many games has it been? How many games did he get 60 in?
So this is what game number
What are you on that one?
88, 58.
He had
so this
16
is-
left, so it's like 147, I think.
Yeah.
And how many did it take for Babe Ruth to get 60?
What'd they play back then? 150 or something?
150 some.
I think he got it
Did he
before.
get it in the Bruce amount?
I think so.
Because I know Roger Maris, they were hoping he would do it within that span.
hmm
So, it's a question.
Well, he's gonna be close. So Denny's already got an answer. 154 is how many they played back then. So
Yeah, the Rangers turned a triple play against the Angels. That's how our season's going.
yeah,
That's cool.
it was before 154 because we got plenty more games than that. So there you go, 60 home runs for Aaron Judge. Wish he would have done it with the bases loaded, but still.
no kidding.
All right, thanks
All
guys.
right, thanks guys. Listen, it is time for another Who Am I? So I'm
All
gonna try
right,
to-
now that we got Denny back in the,
I'm
in the
gonna
chat,
try to
we're
stump
good
you
to
a
go.
little bit more. And again, we just talked about him being on, and then I just gave it away. It's a him, yes.
Well, you did that earlier. You said he.
I was born in Salt Lake. His brother
Yeah.
and him played in a TV competition. All right, here we go. I then went on to play the PGA Tour Canada. I even like that even better. Alverson says, "Quit
Quit
whining."
whining. I
Um,
just would have rather him hit that with bases loaded. The fact that has Schwarber hit a home run in the last couple days, or is he still at 39?
I think he's still at 39.
The fact that Judge could have more solo home runs than anyone else has home runs this year is hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's nuts. All right, so I went on to play the PGA Tour Canada in 2013.
Okay.
I made seven.
So as a tennis player, I got it.
I made 7 cuts and 8 starts. I won my first title on the web.com tour in August of 2014. I finished 8th in the regular season and 12th in the tour finals, which earned me my PGA card for the 2014-2015 season. I won my first PGA title in March of 2016 at the Puerto Rico Open in a sudden death playoff on the 3rd hole over Steve Marino.
I got nothing.
All right.
You're gonna get me with
I'm gonna
this
get-
one
I'm gonna
unless
get
unless
one more.
Danny gets it in there.
One more, and then we will pause. In September 2018, I was the captain's pick for Jim Furyk for the Ryder Cup for Team USA.
I just don't follow golf that much. I'm not gonna have a clue.
I went golf this week. I could have went a couple of different ones, but I went
Mhm.
golf this one just because, I could have went Pete Carroll. His birthday was this week, but this one we hadn't done a sport other than
No, I'm glad you picked it, and I'm see if somebody else can get it for me. But I'm gonna have zero chance. Before we get to our pick'em, again, I want to
All right.
thank everybody that's been hanging out with us, and Denny and Alicia and Khalil for coming in for our 100th episode. We very, very much appreciate
Mhm.
all of the support from everybody, and we continue to have fun. We've been distracted. Denise
Yes.
apparently has a cake now
She bu-
hanging out in a
I-
car for us.
I wish I could. She sent it to me in a text and
We
not
will.
on our other, so I can't put it up.
Well, you can put it
I'll
up
put
on
it-
the,
I'll
on
put
the
it up on the
page, but
page,
it was very, very nice of her. But she did have you distracted for a half hour, and luckily she did. I made fun of Denise, but I'm glad she did not bring it in because then you would be completely distracted.
Fat guy and cake. Heck yeah.
Yeah, but we would have
I'd be
we would have
distracted
gave
quite
some
well.
away. That's for sure. I would have been distracted too. I had dinner. I'm still hungry. But before we get into our pick'ems, I want to run through the
I'm
that
saving
MLB
half of
scoreboard.
I'm saving Haley. I'm sending half with Randy. So you
Yeah,
are
we'll
taking half of
we'll
it.
share. All right, your scoreboard right now so far through the games that are finished. The Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks 6-5 in the first of a doubleheader. There, they're scoreless in the top of the second right now in Game 2. Red Sox beat the Reds 5-3. Astros took care of the Rays 5-0. Cubs beat the Marlins 2-1. Blue Jays beat the Phillies 18-11. Whoops.
That's a football score.
Yep. The Orioles did put up some runs, but they lose to the Tigers 3-2. Currently, right on the bottom of the ninth, Judge hit home run number 60. That's all we have to talk about that score. Braves over the Nationals 3-1.
You don't want to say Pirates lead 8-5.
Pirates lead 8-5. It's Judge hit number 60. That's all that matters. Braves over the Nationals 3-2. Mets over the Brewers 7-4. So that wild race continues. Angels still over the Rangers 5-2 in the eighth. Royals over the Twins 5-4. Also in the eighth, the Twin season is done. And the Guardians just trying to just wrap up the Central. They took care of the Twins. Now try to take care of the White Sox. They lead 1-0 in the sixth. Giants over the Rockies 5-1 in the seventh. Mariners up 1-0 over the Athletics in the bottom of the third. Padres over the Cardinals 2-0 in the top of the fourth. So obviously still no home run for Pujols just yet. Yankees do have 2 on, nobody out. Richie just messaged me that Judge needs to hit number 61 in the 10th inning. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, he's upset at me.
Richie's upset at you?
Yeah,
Did you beat him in bowling?
I did.
I want
has-
to
he has-
appreciate you for allowing us to be 1-0-1 in our bowling league and leading our division. So
He has fair arm. He had to.
he
work
worked
the fair-
hard.
He works hard down there at the fair during down at Garfield County. So he worked along. He told me this week. He says next year I'm pre-bowling for fair week.
It's not a bad idea. Let's get to our pick'ems real
All right.
quick because we only got 20 minutes left.
And we
got
gotta
some
talk
Aussie
about it.
rules going on. Got some fun NASCAR stuff. Golf is back,
Yes,
but I don't know if we're going to have time for that. Because we're going to spend 20 minutes talking about how amazing I was at our pick'em last week. Not the NFL pick'em where I went 8-8. We don't need to talk about the NFL pick'em, even though you try to make me 7-9 because you're a cheater.
I did that at like 10 o'clock last night, and my eyes were closing, and I'm like, oh my god,
But
I can't miss one.
At least you did it to yourself too. So
I
that's
did.
fine. You went 10-5.
That's
It's very
respectable.
respectable.
Yeah.
Very respectable for you. 10-5. You went 6-3 in high school, 4-2 in college. One game that we picked ended up being a different game, and then that we could, even on Friday at the Tribune, we could not get their score.
Yeah.
We just could not find it, but it ended up being a different one. So I just scratched it all together. I went 14-1.
That's awesome.
And the one that I missed, I'm mad at because I switched it because I liked Clearwater Valley
Yeah.
and I just could not talk myself into it because Lapway had kind of owned them over the last couple of
Mhm.
years. Clearwater Valley got the big win. Congratulations to them for proving me wrong. But I was really shocked. That was the only game I got wrong. I picked a couple upsets in college football. It all worked out. So right now you are 29-23. You're still good. I'm
Respectable, yeah.
38-14. So everything is going to crash really hard
I can't believe I'm 9 games behind you.
coming in. All right, let's go through these kind of rapid fire. We'll go through 10 high school games first and 6 college. On Thursday, Lapway trying to bounce back from their loss, taking on Logos. Give me the Wildcats.
Yeah, all day long. Nothing against Logos, but they just don't have that program we talked about.
No,
there,
they're still
they're
trying
still
to work
building
through
it, yep,
things.
so- and I think Lapway is way too much. So
Big game, Sandpoint at Lewiston. We know Sandpoint 1-2 on the year. Bengals, as Denny said, and a lot of people I've talked to have said as well, this is the week where if the Bengals continue to go nuts, then they're going to prove that they're a legit team. Give me the Bengals.
yeah, 100%. And when you look at where Sandpoint has been over the last couple of years, it's a little shocking that they're not pushing into that. So yeah, I'm taking Lewiston until somebody can shake them up a little bit. I honestly, like you were saying, I could see them being 5A state, right now.
There's some really good teams down south, and obviously it's very rare that they mix.
Right.
Yeah, Lewiston did beat Capital,
Mhm.
who beat them last year, but Capital's kind of having a down year. So, but I would like to see them make the state tournament and see what they can do.
It'll be interesting.
West Valley is at Clarkson. Give me the Bantams there. I really like what Steinwann's been doing.
Yeah, Steinwan looked really well, and he didn't even play the entire last quarter. Hayden Light comes in. Akaika Mahan come in, 3 rushing touchdowns, been really good. The big thing with that game against East Valley is how balanced the play calling was between run and pass. It just and what they were doing. East Valley, pretty one-dimensional. I was talking to my coaching staff. They ran the same formation. I think they shifted it up like 2 or 3 times, but they were very predictable. So Clarkson, give me them over West Valley.
For the lead in the 1A D1 White Pine League, Clearwater Valley off of their win against Lapway, taking on Kamei. It's a really good one. I went against Clearwater Valley and got it wrong, so I have to go with the Rams this week.
Yeah, both of them 3-1. They're. What are you all excited about?
Giancarlo Stanton just did a grand slam. Yankees beat the Pirates 9-8.
Oh man, my phone just went off because Judge hit a home run. But no, I'm going to take the home team. Both of them 3-1 on the season. It's going to be an interesting matchup for those 2 ball clubs.
That hurt my arm, raising it so fast. And now Richie's messaging me. Kendrick at Lewis County. I don't think Kendrick's going to put up 100 points, but they're going to win this game.
Yeah, Kendrick is going to. It's the team to beat in that division, so I'm going to take Kendrick.
I almost skipped this one. Prairie at Genesee. I don't know if Angus is going to be back. Hopefully he is, but I'm going to take Prairie.
Yeah, 100% Prairie. They're just not knowing what ifs, and it's too early for that.
Troy at Potlatch. Potlatch has been really good. They put up a lot of points. This could be the highest scoring game of the night. I'm going to take Potlatch.
Yeah, 100%. I think this could be the big game next to Clearwater Valley, Kamei. I think those are close 1-2 games. So, but I'm gonna take Potlatch.
Asotin at Northwest Christian. Northwest Christian not having that great of a year. Asotin still would like to see their offense get going, but I'm going to take Asotin to win this one.
Yeah, look, I'm looking forward to hearing about how the Ellis boys do. I think having both of them playing together, I think they're just way too much firepower for Northwest Christian.
Yakima Tribal taking on Pomeroy. The Pirates just own that series lately, so give me Pomeroy.
Yeah, looked at their record. Yakima not playing all that well, so yeah, Pomeroy all day at home.
And the last high school game, Deary at Timberline. I like what Timberline's been doing, but give me the Mustangs.
I'm taking Deary just because you and the guys at the news down there at Sports Desk laughed at me because I took them last week. I think they can.
Yeah, but you took them against Potlatch, and Potlatch is
know.
really, really good.
I was looking for an upset.
All right, let's get to the college game. Speaking of upsets, will we get one? Number 15, Oregon at Washington State.
I will be at that game. Denise has tickets. We're
Jealous.
going to that. We're going to go to that game. I think Oregon is just going to prove too much. I like where Washington State is right now. I think Oregon is going to win that one and just barely cover.
I'm going to take the Cougars, not because I fully believe it, not because, I'm going to put a ton of money on it or anything crazy. Like, I'm not super confident in this at all. I'm doing this for a selfish reason.
Okay.
Washington State can defeat Oregon. which they have done. They've
Oh,
lost
yeah.
the last 3, but they kind of went on a roll there for a little bit. And their defense is really good. But WSU beats Oregon. Let's say pretty convincingly.
Okay.
2 weeks from now, USC comes to town. Possibly with College Game Day. I want College Game Day back.
Oh, I think
The moment WSU is in a ranked team versus ranked team contest, College Game Day,
Reese has said
Reese
he
has said
wants-
this is his favorite place he's ever been.
Right.
They will find an excuse to come back to the Palouse, and I want to go again. There's
sign me
2
up.
opportunities. 2 weeks from now when USC comes, or the Apple Cup.
There's too many,
And there's
I think
too many rivalries
on
during
that
the Apple
weekend.
Cup.
Yep. So
So I
We'll see
think
then.
2 weeks from now, that's the big one. But WSU has to win this game.
yeah, I hope that happens, but I'm gonna take Oregon.
All right, Idaho at Northern Arizona. Idaho got a nice big win, but this is really their first actual decent size test.
Yep.
They've played some really big teams in WSU and Indiana. Then they played a team that they should have beat. Now they're finally playing somebody kind of at their level. But give me the Vandals.
Yeah, first Big Sky matchup for them. I'm gonna take Vandals on the road.
Montana State at Eastern Washington. I'm not watching this game. I don't care about this game. Give me Montana State because screw you, Paul, if you're watching.
I wish I could watch it, but I'll be up watching the Oregon Washington State game. Give me Eastern. I'm gonna be different from the
Arizona at California. Interesting Pac-12 game. That's why I put it on here. Arizona, I thought was going to be really bad. They've been playing better than I was expecting, but I'm still going to take California.
Yeah, Cal just a small favorite. I think them being at home, they're going to knock off Arizona.
Number 5, Clemson at number 21, Wake Forest. Could be interesting to see Wake Forest get the upset. Clemson has not been the same team lately, but I'm still going to take Clemson to win this one.
Is Wake Forest for real? They've been playing quite well.
Mhm.
They are ranked 21, but I just
Yeah, and finally, number 10, Arkansas at number 23, Texas A&M. Texas A&M has been a roller coaster this year. Had a good win against Miami last week. I think the roller coaster goes back down. Give me the Razorbacks.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other direction. I think Jimbo can keep them going. Texas A&M. Let's go.
All right, those are your picks. Those are our 16 picks. Remember, I only missed one last week, so I'll get one right this week, most likely, because that's just how it works. Let's get to some Aussie rules football. Guys,
Right here. Right here, brother.
if you've still not listened to us for 100 episodes, go watch Aussie Rules Football. The grand final is Friday night, 9:30 p.m. Pacific. Decent time
Yes.
on FS1. I'll be watching it on the side screen at work.
I will start it as soon as I get home from work in West Valley game.
It's going to be a very, very good game. Go check it out. Then come back and report to us, see if we're crazy or not. We have to hope, though. It's a Hawthorne story that came out. I didn't see the Hawthorne story. Eric, you're going to have to message me on Facebook. Let me know what's going on with that. Hopefully, it's more like the Sydney Collingwood game from the prelim finals than the Geelong Brisbane game.
That wasn't a game.
Geelong crushed Brisbane 120-49 to make it to the grand finals. They had 18 goals in that one. Hawkins, that person. I
21
can't
of-
cuss here,
Yeah.
but that person.
21 points of 120. I mean, that's
He was
brutal.
great. He was great. So was Geelong. They completely rolled. They've been rolling for a while. Sydney and Collingwood was like straight battle.
Mhm.
Sydney jumped out, looked like they were going to dominate. Collingwood, which was they've done all season long, came roaring back, had multiple chances to take the lead, and the final 2 minutes of that game is just nuts. Go check
The
it out on
entire
YouTube.
Game was
Yes.
nuts.
Just fantastic affair.
I thought a Swans player was going to end up in the stands.
Yeah, it was Buddy
because
Franklin.
They
It was-
were shoving each other,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of chippiness. But I thought Franklin was going to end up in the front row. How much they were back and forth.
But that sets up the grand finals. Geelong versus Sydney. Like I said, 9:30 p.m. Pacific on FS1. It's not Buddy Franklin's last game like we all thought. He signed a 1-year contract yesterday,
Did he?
which shocked me I really thought this was going to be it. His swan song, if you would. Haha, it's the Sydney Swans, for those that don't know. Former Hawk. I know there's a lot of Hawthorne fans out there that don't like Buddy because he used to be a Hawthorne guy. Took the money and ran. Can't blame the guy.
Right.
He's been one of my favorite players of all time. Would like to see him go out on top, but now with him coming back a year, it kind of messes things up. But I am still gonna take the Sydney Swans.
Yeah, I jumped on, Geelong on a 15-game win streak. Right now they're favored by 10.5. Give me Geelong. And yeah, Eric, I know you and I picked this. This was the final we picked. We knew it was going to come down to this, so it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to watching that game live. Hopefully, I don't wake the wife up when.
It'd be a good one. And now let's move on to NASCAR, where the first round of the playoffs have concluded, and we're still waiting for a playoff driver to win a race. That is how crazy NASCAR has been.
Somebody new.
Chris Buescher gets his second win of his career.
Second of the career, I think.
He won a rain shortened race at like Pocono or something. I forget where that was, but he goes out and wins. Kind of dominated the little bit that I was able to see of this race. Chase Elliott finishes second, Byron third, Bell fourth, Kyle Larson fifth, which means Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, and Kevin Harvick all eliminated. Kyle Busch blew up twice in this first round of the playoffs, and I don't know if I've ever seen a crowd happier.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch any of it, but these guys, I don't know if I quite still agree with their playoff runs, but it's going to be interesting to see if this is the new way they race. And
Yeah,
it's
100%.
So
It's entertainment over fairness.
I think you hit that on the head exactly.
And I know a lot of racing people absolutely hate it. I'm not the biggest fan, but you're trying to get butts back into seats, trying to get people to watch. So when things are on the line like this, you have tires that are going to explode at no warning. There are some things I just can't stand with NASCAR right now. Tires are one of them, where they blow up at just unforeseen moments, but then there's very little fall off. Like you used to have it where, okay, come get tires and then you're going to be faster. There's guys out there on 100-lap old tires just running the same old laps just because there's no fall off on them until they just explode.
Right.
Whether it's 20 laps in or 100 laps in, you just never know. Very interesting. We're down to 12. We'll see how things go. It's at Texas this week. It's one of my least favorite tracks. Probably won't be watching a ton of this. Thankfully, it's back on Sunday, so I'll be watching some football on top of it. Probably football and baseball will be on my screens, and I'll keep an eye on Texas.
I was going to say it's starting right at the time where that we talked about earlier. It's that happy medium time with NFL football with the craziness starting at 12:30. So it'll be an interesting event.
And then Max Homa defends his title at the Fortinet. Is that how you say it?
So
championship. Joel Damon was there. He struggled and missed the cut, but it's the start of his season. So
I was more upset and sad for Danny Willett. Missed 3 putts on the 72nd hole to win it.
That's rough.
Free putt 18, and it's a bad one. So I think I'm more excited. President Cup starts to Thursday. All their formats. So great group of guys that are in this one. Four-ball match.
Any of these guys that are on this list part of the answer to your Who Am I?
Yes. I'm going to help you. Yes.
All right, sweet. All right, now I can focus.
Okay.
All right, give me the rest of your Who Am I.
All right, the rest of the Who Am I for this week. We know that he was a captain's pick by Jim Furyk. He won his first PGA title in 2016. My best major championship finish is the Open Championship in 2019 at Royal Portrush Golf Club in Ireland, where I finished third at 7 under, 8 strokes behind Shane Lowry. I have 4 PGA Tour wins. Here's your key one. 2 of which were this season. We were also on back-to-back weeks. The 3M Open, the end of July, and the Rocket Mortgage on the 31st of July. I am also the cousin to the NBA Jabbar Parker and NFL player Haloti Ngata. As of this week, I am ranked 14th in the world golf rankings.
Denny Grubb thinks it's Roy McIlroy.
It is not.
I was going to say he's not on my list. So that's where I was getting all confused. I'm between two. Your other ones are like the cousins and stuff that I have no idea.
I was wanting to put that closer to
That
the brother thing, and I decided not to.
I'm between Scotty Scheffler and Cameron Young. Am I
You're wrong.
in the
on
okay?
both
So then
of
I'm out.
them. It is Mr. Tony Finau.
That makes sense. All
His
right.
brother and him were on the golf show where what was it? Beat the
Oh,
Pro.
some
Yeah,
some show I've
Golf
never heard of.
Network, Yeah. So.
When you said that, I was just straight thinking Amazing Race or some kind of Big Brother thing. Or
guess who starts on Amazing Race here? I want to say it's next week. Rex Ryan.
Oh,
is
yeah,
running
yeah.
the Amazing
With the-
Race, so
it's
it's going to be
like
interesting.
his golfing buddy
I
or
think
whatever,
so,
right? Yeah.
I haven't seen. I know the highlights are coming out with that.
I would
here.
say I would check that out, but I'm so far behind on other shows. Haley and I watched that challenge thing,
I
and we're
think
like
we're a
3
week-
episodes
I
behind.
think we're a week behind. I think Denise and I are a week behind. We catch up with Big Brother. So
I love
that.
the challenge. I've always loved the challenge. The challenges in the challenge. I've never liked the drama that goes on
Right.
with the MTV version of that. But I'll go on YouTube and watch the crazy challenges that they do. It's the same thing with this show. I find 80% of the challenge boring. I can't stand it. But they have those 2 challenges on there. I must see TV.
Listening to TJ laugh.
TJ is so great.
that
TJ
is
needs to
funny.
host other shows.
So Denise and I watched the episode, and correct me when I'm like, I want to say it was like week 2 of this season when they dropped the guys from
Yeah.
the top,
Mhm.
and he's just laughing as soon as the bottom. Falls
TJ
out.
is
It
a
just dies
fantastic host.
He is just hilarious with his laugh and,
If-
and all that. But
if-
yeah, I don't know. I don't like all the other
Drama
stuff.
and like half the people are from this Love Island show I've never watched, and they
watched it.
just have brought in drama along with it. And I don't need any of that. Just
yeah,
give me the over the top challenges that they do.
Yeah.
Also, if Jeff Probst ever retires from Survivor, TJ needs to be the new host.
there you go. So I know we've got so many thank yous to do, and,
Yes.
and we'll get to that. Also, I have to share this with Denny. Mom and dad message. They said congratulations on 100 shows. Thank
Thank
very
you
much.
to them and everyone else that has
She
congratulated us.
also said she still remembers correct saying normal school. I've never heard that term. Anyway, we talked about Lewiston
Right.
Normal School. I
I
just-
want to know where the unnormal schools were. That's what I want to know.
Washington Huskies.
The Washington unnormal is just. Now I need to search. Is
We're-
that
I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask.
so? Is the
Mom
normal school here and the unnormal school in Orfino?
where Shannon Wilson's from.
Yeah, well, I'm
Oh,
not
did I
talking about
say
the
that?
school itself. Just you had
Oh.
the insane asylum over there,
Oh,
right?
Well, yeah, I think. Yeah.
So I wasn't making fun of the Maniacs. It just goes with their mascot because they make fun of themselves and the history of that town. I'm not making fun of that high school or anyone that's gone there. I'm just saying, back in the day, is that what
Yeah.
that was for?
I have no idea. That's kind of crazy to
I
think
don't know.
about.
But like you said, we want to thank everybody out
God,
there. The
so
list
many.
is too long. I still need to completely finish my list of all the people that we've had on our shows throughout. It's just, especially with bowling starting and all the
it's
other
just
stuff
been
that you and I have been done. I just have not had a chance to go back and through. But every single one of those people, I want to thank. I want to thank everyone on here that's always been chatting,
Mhm.
whether it's especially, I mean, those guys that don't even live in the area, and half the show's not even for them. But
They still
Harry
listen.
and Robert and Eric out
Yep.
there for
We
listening
didn't hear from
throughout.
Robert tonight. That's kind of weird. That's kind of crazy.
Like I said, Robert probably just knew that my takes were going to be bad or something, and he just didn't want to deal with me. But Denny Grubb's on here all the time. Haley, of course, for allowing me to just do this
Yeah.
on top of
So
it,
much
and
mine too, yeah.
hanging out. Your parents watching, and Denise hanging out and making sure that the
I-
grandkids say hi from time to
Yeah,
time.
and I even have, and I even, Addie says not even us. Yeah, no, he just said that. Even, I've even got football players and students asking me about it now. So it's like talking
Mhm.
about my show. So it's
Yes,
growing, and yes, it's going to keep growing.
yes, Addie, even you. I would thank you as well. Maybe Chase. Maybe I'll thank Chase. But no, we're 100 in. We'll see how long this goes. and what we will do once my time at the college is done, which
It'll
is
be
it's getting there. I'm working my way through, but I don't know if that'll even be the end of us. We're having a lot of fun.
No.
Maybe it will just grow from there. But 100 in, still going strong, still making fun of each other, and still having
Always.
fun doing it, man.
Always, man.
All right, episode 101 next week. We're not going anywhere.
I won't be here for one.
Oh crap! I forgot. Anybody
gone
want
the
to help
next
me
2
for 2
weeks.
weeks? I forgot. So I have kicked Robert out after episode 100. No, Robert will be doing
I'll be in
some
Pullman.
football.
I'll be in Pullman next Tuesday.
So it'll just be me and somebody. We'll figure it out. Who gets to blow out the candles? We'll let Addie do it. But we'll figure that out later. But for right now, you want to hit the
I
button
got
here,
you.
sir? All right. That's Robert. I'm Randy. Thanks for 100 episodes, guys.
Thanks,
But
guys.
We are